even conquer half of it yet. Like music, like you got Harlem here, you got Midtown over here, you got Brooklyn over here, and Queens somewhere behind them. So like any artist that's been able to, you know, successfully conquer or be heard all throughout New York, my hat's off to you, because there's 8 million to 15 million people in New York alone. So that little slice of New York that I've been able to get my music heard in, you know, being on the big radio stations, WBLS, Sirius, Satellite, iHeart, you know, it's a major victory for me, but there's still a long way to go.
Who the victims were who got shot here at Edgewater City Place early this morning. But yes, family members, friends, and fans all confirming that it was Lil TJay.
How could that happen here? They keep it so tight around here.
And artists like TJay's friends agree.
We want to make sure that artists have a place, a safe haven. You know, we are artists, we're not targets.
A developing story happening in New Jersey, a double shooting involving a Bronx rapper.
Maurice and Christine, it was here at this busy shopping plaza where a little after midnight along River Road, police say they had a report of a man getting shot, a young man. We have since learned that that person is rapper Lil TJay. Fellow performer Bugzee Lix says he has since come out of surgery and has a long recovery ahead. He says what happened here is exactly what Lil TJay was hoping to avoid.
All of the celebrity rappers and stuff try to have a safe haven, a mutual ground where we can just kind of eat with our families, chill, relax, and just have peace of mind.
He says the two of them usually talk music, but intends to remind him of the dangers associated with fame.
In other professions where you have like these multi-millionaires and stuff, they'll walk around a lot of times by themselves and you won't even know who it is. It's only like in the rap industry to where you're wearing your jewelry, you're wearing your diamonds. We've got to do something different so that the violence decreases instead of always having these tragic stories from a prolific artist like Lil TJay.
I'm just so happy people can finally understand me. Name my skin, and that's more than a name, it's a movement. An active movement. For those who follow me. I blow smoke out of open nostrils. My speech, it be more than hostile. Trying to stop it is so impossible. I ride through the boroughs like Jay-Z. I'm crazy, my eyes purple hazy. Way deep, the abyss couldn't hold this. Get rich, niggas die when they don't wish. Pump your fist for Pac and my nigga big. Take a sec to reflect over how we live. Many kids growing up with a beast chip. Pushed off on a plan to increase shit. Armored trucks on the street full of new juice. Cancer cells is worse.
To know about Bugzee Lix, you might want to start with my last documentary, Space Needle, the animated life of Bugzee Lix, to get a certain point in my life where I was really doing music. To take you back before that, I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. So New Orleans has a whole vibe of its own. It's the place I call home, from soul food like gumbo, jambalaya. Most of my family, both sides of my family are from there, my mom's side and my dad's side. So I grew up uptown, 12th Ward, 13th Ward. So when you hear rappers talk about the Magnolia Projects, I grew up close to there on a street called Marengo and Ferret. I also grew up off of Bell Castle and Magazine Street. So those are like two main streets in New Orleans most people know about. Life in New Orleans was fun. You know, I had a lot of fun growing up there, you know, but coming back as a teenager was different than growing up there. Growing up there, I stayed there till like age 6, then moved up to the Pacific Northwest, but I would fly back every year or so until I got into my late teens or what have you, and then stopped for a while, started flying back as an adult. So ever so often when I would fly back for the summer, I would pick up new lingo, learn new parts of the New Orleans culture, visit family, and you know, became a Saints fan in the process. Let me take you back for a second. Right before I moved to Newark from the Pacific Northwest, I had done a few big shows out there, like me and my crew. You could call us Human Nature, and some of the island boys that was with us. Shout out to the island boys, the Filipinos. We formed a Voltron promotional team, and we did like a show called Booty Quake. I know the name's crazy. Then we did another show, Booty Quake 2. So that was about 900 to roughly 1,000 people that we brought into the fairgrounds for a party, and I ended up performing at this party with my own personal crew.
I was slam dunking in high school. Slam dunking in high school. I was slam dunking in high school. Now I'm slamming doors on that Rolls Royce. Got a nice plug on some nice food. Gotta bake it up till that thing's moist. I was slam dunking in high school. Slam dunking in high school. I squat on the op block, trying to watch for the cops, making drops for the guap. That fast money don't stop in high school.
People from as far away as Portland, Oregon pull up. We had obviously people from Tacoma, Seattle, and all those surrounding areas pull up. And so it was about, in total, I want to say anywhere from 1,200 to 1,300 people in attendance at this show. And that was my biggest performance at the time. And I believe those years, Booty Quake 2 was around 99. Freak Fest was around 99, 2000. And then, no, Freak Fest was 98. Booty Quake might have been 97. So that was shortly, a few years before I left the Pacific Northwest. But those were big shows that we put together ourselves, and I'm still proud to this day of them, seeing how when you go to New York and you see some promoters out there, you know, packing a house with 200, 300 people night after night, how difficult that is. We were able to pull that off as youngsters in the Pacific Northwest, where it's not even that type of culture, upwards of thousands of people.
Let me get that one right there.
Yes, sir.
Not that one.
Which one?
The other one. The other one.
What do you want?
Yo, give me a refill. I need a refill of what I love.
Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey. Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey. We already tropical beaching, just trying to follow the sequence. It's time to dive off the deep end. My planet's aligning this evening. We paving new roads. We already reached our former goals and spinning this crypto like it's gold, making new friends, not foes, repairing your soul. This life is known to take its toll, and people always gonna test you. That's how life unfolds. But truth be told, we knocking them out the box with flows that nobody's ever heard before. That means we must be chosen. We let them all eat meals. We sober while they hired and heat bills. They living off cheap skills and fooling the world by giving up e-pills. It's harder to be real. I'm knowing your pain. He told you to be still. Now I'm remembering, delivering you unlimited refills.
Hey. Not that one. The other one.
Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey. 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 We already out here yachting, so you can't tell us nothing. We lost but not forgotten. The apple still is rotten. We pulling the lost souls from the bottom, letting them know we got them. Taking our weapons from against us, can't nobody stop us. Selling off NFTs and thousands, buying new stocks with options. Using the LLCs for houses, putting these kids through college. Still making that profit. Get out of that relationship's toxic. He wasn't the one for you, no way, but kept on holding you hostage. I thought you lost it. You found a way to dodge the coffin. You smarter than what you credit yourself, like Harvard schools in Boston. We let them all eat meals. We sober while they hired and heat bills. They living off cheap skills and fooling the world by giving them e-pills. It's harder to be real. I'm knowing your pain. He told you to be still, but now I'm remembering, delivering unlimited refills.
Not that one. The other one.
Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey. Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey. Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey. Yo, refills unlimited. My refills unlimited. 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 unlimited. My refills unlimited. Hey, hey, hey.
So how did you and Bugzee Lix meet?
Me and Bugzee Lix. My name is Mike. Sometimes go by Mark B. No, it's just a joke. Me and my trainer. But me and Bugsy met back in about 2009. We were both interning for this law office back in Jersey. What was that? Emerson, New Jersey. I think that's where we started out at. And we just became more than coworkers or internship, whatever you want to say. We worked together. We talk like off the clock together and got to know our interests. And I think even though we had some little different interests, we had like a lot of common interests. And we meet together on music, on movies, and we got into each other's interests. He got to me making shirts and following music, and then he gave me some of his music to sample just to listen, and I got into it because I was just starting to like kind of rekindle my interest in hip hop. It was always there, kind of dormant, but at that time I was kind of getting more involved in listening and getting acquainted with what was out that was new, and it was fresh. It was like something local, and then he was also bringing like his upbringing into it, because I found out a lot about him with his, he's kind of a man of many passports, you would say, but even though he was here, he's got Bremerton, he's got New Orleans, and he's got Jersey too. So I always look for like the outsider, underdog. So when I got into SoundCloud rap, I'm like, these guys are bringing something that I haven't ever heard before. Like they're mixing genres, and they're not going like what they hear on the radio and try to replicate it. They're bringing their own influences and like even going outside the common like other hip hop influence. Like they're not like ripping off Pac or ripping off Biggie. They're going into like underground bands, and they're going into like weird noises, weird sounds, topics that aren't usually rapped about. They're going personal, they're going deeper, and that's where the territory that I like to hear. I like to hear something that isn't just replicated over and over again. So like when I hear Bugsy bringing that, so he's bringing my age, he's bringing stuff from my time period forward, but he's also blending it with the SoundCloud rappers too, which I think is cool. So I think for this current state of hip hop to go forward, as with any genre of music, I think it has to kind of reinvent itself, and it can't stay stagnant. You have to go deeper and darker and evolve it to like evolve the form.
I was going through some things out in the Pacific Northwest. I don't really want to talk bad about the town, but there's a lot of gang activity out there. Let's just keep it a buck. And I got caught up in it, and this is one thing I will say to all street dudes out there. Street dudes like to pride themselves as realer than rappers, which may be true on a day-to-day basis to a large extent. But rappers are street dudes too. And so, whenever you test in a rap artist or a rapper, whether he's 10 toes down or whether he's 5 toes in, just know that there's consequences that come with that. So I'm not a tough guy. I don't plan to be the roughest, toughest. I don't claim to be the roughest or toughest guy out there, but I gets busy. I've had a large amount of fist fights over my lifetime. And so, just having run-ins daily with whether it be guys that were enlisted or guys that were, claiming different sets. I had to carve out my little slice of the pie out there in Pacific Northwest, even as a full-time rap artist, but also a trap artist. So, being that the town or the towns or the cities that I was moving around in started getting smaller and smaller, I just seen that it was compromising my music career more than being afraid of anybody or being afraid of the statistical things that happen to black men. I was just really focused on, well, am I gonna move to LA? Am I gonna move to San Diego? Am I gonna relocate to Sacramento? And so my older sister already being on the East Coast, she set up her life out there, dang near twins, so she like a year older than me. she had convinced me to come out to New York for a visit. And upon visiting, you know, she had pressed the line for me to start looking for work, start taking life serious, start taking my music career serious. And my ears perked up when she would convince me of how close I was to all the major labels, that New York was the mecca of hip hop, and if I could make it here, I could make it anywhere. And I just slowly over time started adapting to that mantra and decided to rent an apartment out there in Newark. Being in Newark was like nothing else that I had ever experienced before. I stayed like right around the area where the Fugees and maybe some of the Outlaws ran the streets. So I was right off of this street called Roseville Avenue and Park Ave. And so it's a real cultured area. They had like a Church's Chicken out there, to give you an example. And they had some project buildings they had just tore down. But the beautiful thing about Newark is I was so close to the PATH train. The PATH train is like a train you take from downtown Newark directly into New York City. So as I was navigating Newark, you know, picking up my first bags of weed, meeting some of the Dominicans that was holding it down out there, and meeting some cultured individuals. I remember this cat from Montclair, Too Tall Jones, where I would start going to the studios. I started being able to just hop on a quick PATH train over to the city. And so as I'm starting to navigate the city, I started going to a lot of open mics. There I went to like the same open mic Jay-Z rapped about on his Reasonable Doubt album. Was like Maria Davis, Mad Wednesday showcases. So when you hear the song 22 Tools on the Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt album, the woman at the end of it, her name's Maria Davis. She used to do these big showcases in the city. And so when I first started doing these showcases, I started getting approached by some, you know, whether it be management, or whether it be studio owners, or whether it be people connected to the record labels from Maria Davis's showcases. Little did I know that she was a big deal and that she always attracted these type of people to her showcases. I just thought I was a special guy that was just getting approached. But needless to say, that's where I met my first manager, Tony Disla. And from there, we just started hitting a lot of showcases. And he introduced me to his partner, Tyrone, who's head of LT Productions, who also introduced me to one of the most instrumental people in my music career at the time, Craze, who owned All Access DVD.
I'ma speak dangerous, you don't wanna hang with us. 35 deep, you don't wanna bang with us. Feel fresh clips when the scene is strange to us. Change that mind like he's sniffing angel dust. I grew up out west in Seattle. A lot of people don't know about Seattle. It's real slept on out there. About 12 hours from Cali, and we do it just as big as Cali, you know what I mean? Been out there for like 20 years of my life.
It was one of my boys, he brought him over to me. I listened to his tracks. I said, all right, let's do it.
As far as me, I've been pushing like 3 years trying to, you know, work out the kinks, you know, perfect my art, my craft. And I see a lot of dudes that's older than me that's still at it, you know what I'm saying? So when I see people that's real talented and they still at it, I'm like, it's almost damn near you gotta win the lottery before you get a deal these days, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that don't mean stop your hustle or stop your dream. Just keep going and pursuing your dream, because somebody gonna hear you one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is he a crib? Is he a blood? Is he a thug that we need to show love? Will he ride for his niggas in the clutch? Will he come when she need to get touched? Okay. Is he a crib? Is he a blood? Is he a thug that we need to show love? Will he ride for his niggas in the clutch? Will he come when she need to get lights, camera, action like Jackson, smacking this bitch in the back of the. Alright. About to be fire up in here. Call the paramedics, call the fire department.
Tell, won't even crack a smile. Them fucking fans wanna hang me, they can hate me now. They can't pay me now. Eat judges for dinner now. fucking a new bitch. I'm really in it now. He be antenna style, cause I'm a winner now. Yes, I'm a winner now. I'm still a sinner, but it's on to repenting now. It's awfully awkward, often my block hurts. A new nigga caught snitching when the cops flirt. But all along they ain't knowing that I got work. It's time to make that nigga's top verse block first. You know the cops thirst, they drank human blood. I'm at the Waldorf Astoria screwing the judge. This bitch is old as hell, so I use bag on face. I had no time to waste, now she throwing out my case.
So yeah, now we moving and grooving through all of New York. I must have did like 3 or 4 showcases with Anthony Disler as my manager. And then one day he comes to me like, yo, I'm interning over at Tommy Boy Records. You know, they've been hearing your stuff. They want to meet with you. And so I'm excited, man. It's like the first of its kind. Prior to that, we had met with a Ja Rule producer at his studio. He looked like he was offering us a production deal, but my manager at the time was kind of wet behind the ears, so he didn't approach that right. So when he came back with this TV Records thing, they were just transitioning out of hip hop music into more rock music. So I'm like, oh, here we go. As soon as I get on, the label's gonna shelve me. So one of the most interesting things happened with meeting up with some label execs after hearing some great news. I had ended up at an after party, and I won't get too explicit, but the after party just wasn't my cup of tea, let's say. I met with some of the execs. The vibe was there, was kicking it with some shorties that ended up at the after party. And just, you know, my eyes approach life a certain way, being a reverence kid. And my spidey senses just started tingling at this after party. So after about 45 minutes at the party, I decided to leave. And that kind of severed the relationship with me and that particular manager at the time. You know, he put in the best effort for my career. He got me to the highest of heights within New York. And, you know, when my spidey senses start tingling, I just, you know, left that situation, let's say, on good terms. You know, there was no hard feelings.
What I've seen, because I've checked out other artists besides Bugsy, and I'd say like a lot of what he does with collaborations. I've seen he's got Snoop as collaborator. He gets on with other artists, collaborate as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you get not only your audience, but you're building an audience with their audience too. And you're kind of like, you're growing your brand, right? But you're also, I think, because I've also played in bands before, so like, to me, it was always good to get our set where we wanted it. It was always to get, you have a good bunch of songs, you have a good couple tracks, but you want to perform them, you want to deliver them, you want to get them as good as you can possible, and then bring the live show, I think, is a big one. And then off of that, you have people attracted to your sound, so then you're distributing, oh, you check me out. So, check me out on SoundCloud, check me out Bandcamp. It was a lot different back in the 90s when you were handing out CDs and samples. I think I've still seen some local artists do that, but like, it's like getting your set where you want it, so you get that attention, and then it builds from there. It's like you just collaborate with other artists, you get their audiences, and then you grow your own brand from that.
So a lot of people feel like the drill music has been plaguing hip-hop in a negative aspect and light, and we all know we have lost a lot of high-profile artists in the past 4 or 5 years. How has that changed since when you guys started making hip-hop music, and how do you feel about it now that's been transitioned over 25 years or so?
I think what I've seen just in the media, I think more so than ever, I think you have to see who's real in that and who really isn't. Like, I think you could tell by like who's living the lifestyle and who isn't, and who's putting the negative influence out, and who really is just like, oh, they're creating a character and kind of speaking through it. But I think a lot of the attention, and you've seen the young rappers, a lot of them, I mean, like, of course, Nipsey Hussle was shot, correct? So, but you're also like seeing the other side of that, like fentanyl abuse. Like you're seeing like a lot of young cats like dying really quick, like 19, 20, when we didn't have that back then. Back then, it's like, you know, there was like, you know, mild drug use, you know, like here and there, and alcohol, but like that comes with territory, or that comes with being a bigger artist. All that's at your fingertips, and you can pretty much get it for free wherever you want. But like to see these young guys go down really hard, and even young female rappers, like that was never when we were. The light wasn't being shown on it. I didn't see it, but it could have been there.
They call it man, drill man, drill man, drill man. But we don't have black ops, running from black cops. Dodging these black choppers, told these black wops. Grooving on black tops, that thing go snap, boom, boom, pop. Get your man flat, they call it man, drill man, drill man, drill man. But we don't have black ops, running from black cops. Dodging these black choppers, told these black wops. Grooving on black tops, that thing go snap, boom, boom, pop. Get your man flat top. Never get chipped up, never got whipped up. They built their system off my back. So
the gang element, I think it seemed more real in the 90s because, you know, like you had NWA come in, and they were really from the street. They were really bringing it, and it was never presented that way before. And then it like leveled everything after it. And then, you know, Dre coming out, and Biggie coming out, and you had one after another. And then like, wow, they're going down pretty hard too. Like one after another getting shot, and then like
Pac,
and then Pac too, and then you had like the 2000s that kind of morphed into like, well, now we're like, you know, we kind of getting back from that East-West rivalry, and then we're like going to a new direction with hip hop, and then we're seeing the more pop elements come out, and then it's like these guys are seeing it just being pretty like, you know, they're not as like, they're being like not taking it seriously. Yeah, like these like now these guys are like pop rappers, and like it's just to get popular, and they're performing with R&B artists, and now they're like, oh, we'll rap about relationships right now. We won't go that hard now. Now we won't go to the street. But as far as like, I'll swing back to the negative. I think, you know, the negative, it's either going to be acted out or it's going to be created, and you can either, you know, it's all entertainment value, right? So like, you could see what a beef is back and forth, or you can really like, are these guys really going to shoot each other, or are they just doing it for record sales? I mean, you're going to buy it anyway. You're just like, but like, you got to really. So are you going to like blame violence on video games? You're going to blame it on here, on there, but like, it's really the listener who takes it in. If they're absorbing it in and they're going to act on it, it's really the person listening to it who's going to individualize it or make it their own.
I wouldn't go as far as to say I was offered a deal with that last situation with the major labels and the execs from the major labels, but we were on the cusp of being offered a deal. And so when I kind of left this after party and just, you know, was trying to pick up the pieces, it was just, I just knew at that time I just had to do a lot more work to get to where I was trying to get to, and it wouldn't be through the front door, it would be more way through the back door. So I started putting out a lot more material, going harder in the studio. And, you know, I bumped into, you know, a lot of different artists that I was looking up to at the time. I ran into Tony Yayo on the streets of New York, over by, you know, their record company at the time. I ran into Prodigy maybe a year before that, rest in peace. Moving around with one of my DJ friends, we ended up at the offices of Rockefeller and Dipset at the time. So I think I bumped into Jim Jones coming off the elevator. Bumped into Eric Sermon. One of my cousins flew out from the Pacific Northwest. We ended up in a club smoking right next to Jadakiss. And so, you know, all this stuff, even though I had lost the label deal, all this stuff was making me feel like this rap thing was still real. Around that time, 2005-ish, I had my daughter. And so, you know, I knew I really had to step my game up if I was going to be a full-time rap artist. But I was still getting money in the streets at the time and still working a 9-to-5 off and on while trying to raise her. So I linked up with this female rap artist, And then, you know, we started kicking it heavy, and she was introducing me to a lot of different producers or studios that she was running around with. And that's how I met my guy D's over at DDG Studios, which is part of Kool and the Gang Studios at the time. And I'd be still recording still moving from Newark on the train over to Manhattan on the train over to Long Island. But I slowly started going to DDG Studios, which was Kool and the Gang Studios in East Orange, New Jersey as well. So if you know anything about Newark, East Orange is like the next town over. So it was a lot easier to get to DDG Studios than it was to New York. So I'd be going out to New York on the weekends, but still booking time with this female rapper I knew, middle of the week sometimes, or on the weekend. And D's just helped me create a whole nother sound. Like, this brother's super talented. And I just started really getting back into my West Coast bag, mixed with this new East Coast sound I had found, and just really put a stamp on who I was as Bugzee Lix, aka Lix.
I don't got no black ops. No ops that live down the block from me. No ops from another set, from another neighborhood. None of that. All past transgressions have been forgiven. I don't have no black ops. Woo! They killing kicks, so we gotta ride Monday, gotta ride one day, gotta ride Tuesday, gotta ride Wednesday, gotta ride Thursday, gotta ride Friday and Saturday. You heard me. They killing kicks, so we gotta ride Monday, gotta ride one day, gotta ride Tuesday, gotta ride Wednesday, gotta ride Thursday, gotta ride Friday and Saturday. You heard me. They yell conspiracy, conspiring is heresy. You know what, Judas, just don't bring that person near to me. Maintaining discipline has always been quite clear to me. Pray that them demons never hurt no one that's dear to me. I lost some cousins that were hurting, I could clearly see that every black leader among us faces clear defeat. If we don't stand together, how can we demand a seat? And I don't hate every police, just them punk police. Them New York streets is a beast, either war or peace. And why is every other rapper wealthy or deceased? We all deserve a peace, fighting inner city beefs. Made it out of life, still gotta fight to breathe. You signed your deal, now you lying in a den of thieves. They life insurance policy is your enemy. I'll say this gently, if you can't be a friend to me.
So yeah, like I was saying, D, shout out to D's, shout out to LT, shout out to Dev. But these people were instrumental in me sharpening my pen like never before. I remember long talks in the studio with D's at DDG Studios, you know, just about direction, you know, about the industry, about my personal experiences in the industry, his personal experiences. I had seen the female rapper kind of go through her own trials and tribulations. I think she had got signed by a well-known NBA player at the time and was on her rise to the top. So these were all motivational factors in what I had set out to do. Around that time, I had shot a music video with LT Productions and Craze, and that ended up on All Access DVD. You know, if you know anything about All Access, they distribute it to all the mom and pop video distributors out in New York City. So the music was getting a push. I was still able to land a pretty substantial sponsorship deal with Daz and Corrupt from the Dogg Pound. How that came about, I think it was All Hip Hop had put something out there saying that they were looking for artists at the time. I had sent my demo in to Big A, and there was one song on there that I remember him speaking to me about that was kind of his decision. That song was called, let me think of the name real quick, Stuck With Me.
When it's cash counting, I like that. Give them something raw they can feel on the track. Quick draw McGraw with the steel on his back. Girls get a feel so surreal with each rap. Know I'm realer than these whack cats. You know what? Bring me the cheese and the dough, no buts. Wanna feel the freeze from my snow low up. Choked in the...
You know, and I was really just dropping some, what I knew to be East Coast type bars, mixed with that West Coast tough guy street language, coming from the experiences I came from on the West. So when Big A hit me, who used to manage Eazy-E or be a part of Ruthless Records with Eazy-E, and let me know that I was officially down with the Dogg Pound with a sponsorship deal, being that close to a guy like Snoop Dogg, being that close to the tree of the Chronic, Dr. Dre, Eminem, and 50 Cent was just like unbelievable to me. So what would happen next would groom me for the overall success that I would face as an independent artist, moving from the Pacific Northwest into Newark and doing a lot of shows and performing every weekend in New York.
Nigga, Fitbit, nigga, Bisquick, nigga.
Aging, that shit clean.
I'm in her heart like a Fitbit, nigga. My dick smelling like her lipstick, nigga. You better miss me with that snitch shit, nigga. You not a shark, you a fish stick, bitch. I'm in her heart like a Fitbit. She can't live without the licks. Hand her the groovy human raps, told her twist this. I got the eggplant on me, told her kiss this. Gucci watch cause she had it on her wish list. Splash splish, every day feel like Christmas. Noodles spattered on the set if you diss this. Boo gon' tat it on her neck if I insist. Who gon' tattle on the tech, what is spit? From Seattle to the sets in Elizabeth.
Part of the grooming at the time of being down with the Dogg Pound, Daz and Corrupt, and Snoop, was learning how the independent game worked. So they would give me a bunch of tasks to do, like come up with my own, what we called webisode at the time. But really, it's just with like what they doing on social media right now, just stories or posts about my recording process, a day in the life of Lix, who they at the time renamed CEO, which would be very fitting. And just, you know, upcoming songs that I had coming out, you know, anything shouting out, you know, the Dogg Pound, using the logos on the platforms like MySpace and stuff. Now keep in mind, this was like 2006 going into 2007. So YouTube was just starting to burst. MySpace was the real platform where you would get a lot of your information out. And like a lot of the torrent services or file sharing sites were really popping at the time. So being that I had to go get like a little mini camera and try to figure out either me or somebody in my staff how to really capture that, didn't know if I was using the right camera and all this. It was like a real learning process into just being an independent artist and getting the right people around you to really staff your stuff. So 50 Cent was popping at the time, so we learned the mixtape game. So I would gather a bunch of dudes that I knew that were rappers, throw the Dogg Pound imprint on there, and just threw mixtapes out left and right until, you know, people started recognizing that Dogg Pound brand from the California side of things over in Newark, New Jersey, and over in, New York area. So it was like really, you know, counterproductive in the way there was still a lot of East Coast, West Coast beef going on. And I don't really know, you know, if I was going to be able to do everything I set out to do, even though the Dogg Pound and Snoop had such a big name. But I was just really pushing it as far as I could from an East Coast perspective, you know, trying to still connect with the West. So a couple of me and the guys, not a couple, me and a group of guys that also had got down with the Dogg Pound at the time. I had met up with Daz and Corrupt and Big A here in New York, but I reached out to a bunch of the guys that were trying to win the contest or submit material to them and said, let's just form like this super group. And we all agreed to call ourselves like the Dogg Pound National Clique, which transitioned into the Dogg Pound Next Generation. I didn't really rock with the name CEO, so I kind of started going back to my name Lix, which evolved into Prince Lix, which previous to that, when I was moving around both Newark heavily and East Orange, was originally Lix Amen. So I was just really trying to find this new improved name that would be this permanent stamp as I grew up the ladder. Now, usually when you get signed to a label, they say, this is your name, we're sticking to this, we're branding this, we're doing this, everything is a part of this brand. But as an independent artist, you know, you have a lot more wiggle room, you know, you're still experimenting, trends are changing, so you're trying to keep up with all that. So Lix Amen turned into CEO, turned into just Lix, L-I-X, turned into Prince Lix. So under the name Prince Lix, I wasn't getting a lot of music put out through the Dogg Pound brand, but I ran into a pivotal figure, JT the Bigger Figure, who was partnered up with Snoop, and that was around 2007. So him and Snoop did a compilation, and JT the Bigger Figure also did a tour, like this California tour. So upon me flying down to Tulsa, Oklahoma to meet up with some of the Dogg Pound Next Generation guys, I also flew down to LA to meet up with JT the Bigger Figure, Oakland, sorry, not LA, to meet up with JT the Bigger Figure and his team, and to be a part of this West Coast tour. Upon returning back to Newark, I was able to hop on this compilation that JT the Bigger Figure and Snoop was putting out called Mandatory Hyphy. And I have a song on that called under the name Prince Lix, and the song is called Who Me.
Young Breezy, Lix, yes, DPGC. Who me? I see cops on the street and they popping the heat, but I just keep rolling on. Who me? I see cops on the street and they popping the heat, but I just keep rolling on. Who me? I'm on a whole nother level.
Around that time, let's say 2006, 2007, I met my new manager, Deb, who was from LA, around the time that I was just now becoming a part of the Dogg Pound imprint under Daz and Corrupt. Shout out to Snoop too. And so I met her. I was doing some music on my own, mainly at DDG Studio, just experimental stuff, trying to see what worked commercially and seeing what worked from a New York sonic sound wise, and coming out of, you know, All Access DVD, really pushing my brand out there. But I didn't really get much response from the streets at the time. With All Access DVD, they did everything right. It's just the music, I don't think it was connecting. Now, if it was connecting, maybe they just didn't see enough of me on a larger scale to really keep up with the brand. MySpace was instrumental, but at the time, a lot of street guys, a lot of project dudes and project females really wasn't, you know, checking for MySpace. They was more checking for who was on Smack and All Access DVD. So there was a little bit of a disconnect, but I got my manager, Deb. She would give me a lot of game as far as, you know, how the industry really worked. And so I was soaking up game at the time, and my staff would just be pushing to keep that Dogg Pound brand moving and grooving. So upon flying out to Tulsa, me and some of the guys from the Dogg Pound Next Generation group we put together hopped on the radio out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we did our first interview.
We want y'all to see everything. The the whole background of it, everything.
Had his rooms ready, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all that. We want y'all, we gonna keep it real. We want y'all to see the whole industry. It ain't just make a video and you blow up. You know
For sure. That's what's up, man. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with your boy. Now, what's another website? I mean, the website again where they can check you out on MySpace.
www.myspace.com/DP Next Generation. Right there every day, you know.
Help support your local artists and also, you know, just your worldwide artists, you know, all over America. So look out for Dangerous Rob and the whole DP. Next Generation Clique. Of course, man, I'm about to get my ass whooped if I mess up I got one more time to mess up their name, and it's over now. But it's all good, man. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at the community picnic, all right?
Don't forget to come to the club tonight. Club Corral. After party, baby.
Rough bundles. Big shout out to my boy. All right, man, let's keep it moving right here. We got Bun B. We getting thrown. We are getting thrown in the studio.
My dude, you understand?
Now, me, you know, being the unseasoned guy I was, end up, you know, cursing all over the radio during the interview, and really just it just taught me that, you know, this music thing was more than just the lyrics you put out, but it was also how you represent yourself to the public. Wasn't nothing that set us back or anything. So as the Dogg Pound Next Generation, we started pushing out some music. And I remember one of my partners from the Pacific Northwest, he was going by DJ Ecstasy at the time. Shout out to Soul. Put out a whole mixtape for us of Dogg Pound Next Generation material, which really didn't get me that stamp in Newark, but it definitely got that stamp over on the Pacific Northwest. And then New York was still keeping an eye on us to see what was next to come. New Orleans, I have really not tapped back into New Orleans yet. A lot of stuff gets jumbled in my mind because there was a lot of stuff moving and grooving at that time. So I remember being in Tulsa doing the radio show. Shout out to Dangerous Rob. Then we ended up in LA. We were supposed to go to this big industry event in LA. And I'm not gonna call anybody out, but some people were nervous to go, you know, because we had this Dogg Pound imprint, and there was a lot of people in Cali that, you know, whether they knew the Dogg Pound or not, were not affiliated. Some of the guys thought that we would be targeted as, you know, people that should be eliminated so that they could get those spots with the Dogg Pound. So we passed on going to this show. I ended up meeting up with my manager in person, who sat me down. I don't know if I'm going through rival territory and all this stuff, but music was just the first thing of focus when I ended up over, you know, in a certain neighborhood. And then from there, I was groomed, you know. She put me on to that LA game. I had already been experiencing a lot of the Newark politics and the New York politics and the Long Island politics. And so the next thing was to head back home to the Pacific Northwest. Some guys that I knew had invited me to do this show, opening up for Devin the Dude. Now, a lot of people in Texas know Devin the Dude, and a lot of people internationally, but I knew Devin the Dude as a guy who was on the Chronic 2001 album with Dre. And so, of course, I was definitely not going to turn that down. So this was my first opportunity to go back up to the Pacific Northwest as a Dogg Pound member. And I believe it was around 2007, 2008. So I had some of my crew members, not from the Dogg Pound Next Generation, but some of my original crew members come up to the show with me. And we all perform or be booked on the show at the same time with me, and we all performed some of my newer solo songs at the time.
Woo! Wow, just made a killing off this crypto. I'm ready to celebrate. Smoke up some more of this Kush, this Zaza. I made a killing off a Pepe, girl, won't you let me? Hit it from the back, then mash in my Giuseppe's. Strictly for my niggas, my crews, and all my essays. Heard you really wanna play house, baby, so let's play. It's cool when they do it, but Snoop, I'm introducing a couple new rules to the game. It's an improvement. We about to let it loose on these lanes with this new blueprint. My baby daddy seen me sneak out and started shooting. Don't shoot, she's cute, so I tripped. This motor got me tripping once again, me amigo. Don't shoot. She's cute, So I slept. This motor got me tripping once again, me amigo.
You know it's cracking like that, why you acting like that? Hand me your glass, let me pour you some yak, that's landed. Now if you act right, by the end of the night you get the can. With the Southside boss, twist that spinach, put fire on the end of the bitch, now let me hit it. Baby you cute, but you need to be fucking with Snoop. Come through and see what it do, cause ooh, I'm so cool, old school. Big Snoop Dogg, I be breaking the rules. I'm phenomenal, your mama knows, so I'ma go and get it. Did the beat, so you know I got to spit it. You got the look of a diva. Dog got it all now, follow the procedure. I need you to leave your mind, but bring your body. Ain't nothing but an Eastside party. Eastside.
Don't shoot, she's killed. So I tripped. This motor got me tripping once again, me amigo. Don't shoot, she's killed. So I slept. This motor got me tripping once again, me amigo. I made a killing off of shitcoin, baby, not Bitcoin. She pulled me by the hand and said, come, so why we tiptoeing? She said her man away on a trip, I guess she been hoeing. I guess that he don't care if I hit it, wax it, and spit on it. A lot of niggas that are in jail over a female, and some of these niggas even got caught bumping a she-mail. You might be on the outside thinking you know the details. First read the subject, then body, yeah, like email. Like Snoop says, she learning her man or burning her man, refunding or returning her man or learning a scam. She can't cook, she burning her ham while burning her hand. Just thank God you hearing this jam and learning the plan. I folded baby like a t-shirt after my rap show. The next night I had to creep slow, creep through the back door. The third night her man didn't tolerate it like lactose. But hands up, I'm yelling out, baby, what he got that from? Don't shoot, she's killed. So I tripped. This motor got me tripping once again, me amigo. Don't shoot, she's killed. So I slept. This motor got me tripping once again, me amigo. Man, I just need some regular weed. Just some regular weed. You know? This is a Bugzee Lix collaboration with Snoop Dogg and D Lynch. I don't need no more of that dro. I just spent up all my crypto messing with this HO.
The show we did up there, opening up for Devin the Dude, had about 300 to 350 people there, mostly friends and family. A lot of people showed love. I was just out there visiting, so had I been smarter at the time, I might have stuck around for, you know, a few more months to really cultivate the whole Dogg Pound imprint and really push it out through all of the Pacific Northwest. But like I said, I had just had a daughter a few years before that, and in my mind, that was the #1 priority, was to be by her side, get back to her every night, do the fun things, and go to the parks that we would go to together. And I just put, you know, this show was great, but I put everything on in the Pacific Northwest on pause just so I can get back to my daughter at the time. I'm not sure which came first, Oakland or heading back home. But I want to say that I headed back to New Jersey, and then I had the opportunity to come back to Oakland to tour with JT the Bigger Figure and them, 2007-ish, 2008. So a lot of big independent stuff was going on in my life at the time. Being a dad rapper was everything to me, and wanting to put food on the table. I just didn't really know the business at the time of how to turn all these little victories into some monetary gains. And so we just started putting out mixtape after mixtape at the time. But if you know Jersey, Jersey's not really like a New York, to where everybody, tourists, New Yorkers, out-of-towners and everything is there just buying mixtapes left and right. Jersey has its, or Newark has its little corners that are set up in the downtown area, and you got to really be having a buzz in New York to get placement on those stands in downtown Newark, unless you're officially from the town. So I'd be moving more around to the malls than hitting New York or hitting downtown Newark to push out my mixtapes. Daz was telling me he was going to call me later that night, and I was going to end up in the studio with him and Swiss Beats. Now, for whatever reason, that never happened, but the situation of how I met up with him, my parents had flew to town just on a whim. I didn't even know I had won. I didn't even know I was going to be selected as their main upcoming artist, and they were set to go do Rap City. So my parents had came to town, and I told my dad about the whole situation. So me and him go to the liquor store and buy 2 big-ass bottles of, like, let's say, Hennessy and something else to bring up to Rap City to meet up with Daz and Corrupt and Big A. When I got there, my dad's with me, so they might have been like, yo, why is, cuz bringing his dad with him or whatever, but I just wanted my dad to walk with me, be part of my success in, where I was headed. It wasn't like, I was underage or nothing like that. So I don't know to this day, why they didn't bring me on Rap City with them, or if it was my dad being there, which all rappers had their dads around or some type of family member around, so I really don't think that was it. Needless to say, they didn't call me later and invite me to the studio with Swiss Beats, and I would never see Daz or Corrupt in life again. But I did, have constant communication with Big A. He's always shown love and support. And around 2008, went back again to the Pacific Northwest because I wasn't really getting shows in Cali like that. Newark didn't really have, to my knowledge, a live performance type of situation out there. And I was still doing some shows in New York. Matter of fact, I had hooked up with my this crew called Tribe Entertainment, a tribe of East Indian guys, and we had tried to do like a Dogg Pound type of show. But they were telling me at the time, like, the Dogg Pounders, West Coast artists, no one out here is really looking to put up money to book them out here. So we did the show anyway. The show was a pretty successful, but I couldn't get like Daz and Corrupt on the bill as I wanted to. So money was funny, so I flew back out to the Pacific Northwest where I knew how to throw shows, where I knew shows would be successful. And I did a show with one of my partners out there, and the same 2 dudes that did the Bellingham show with me, opening up for Devin the Dude. And we brought about 200 people out. But the difference with this was the local newspaper, Bremerton, where I grew up outside of Seattle, they have a local newspaper that they featured me in. And so they were able to feature me from the show. So this was a real 360 of success from a town I grew up in, coming back in some fame, some accolades. And just because I didn't have a deal, that was enough to keep me pushing through and still keep making music the way I was making it, because at least this little small town, which was a naval city, was able to show me some love that I deserve from making it all the way from nothing up to, Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound.
Jinx on the track.
I'm simply loving life right now. The undisputed but underrated Prince of the Northwest, King of Seattle, Lix, Kizzy. My enemies wanna bust, but they'll never win. I guess I gotta head back to Bremerton. So many Brimelos still wanna sit and spin. I guess I gotta head back to Bremerton, back to Bremerton, back to Bremerton. I guess I gotta head back to Bremerton, back to Bremerton, back to Bremerton. I guess I gotta head back to Bremerton. I had to spell it out for those who couldn't read. Without their full understanding, how could I proceed? Oh, you remember me? Try to remember this. It takes a full facelift to resemble Lix. They said I copied them, but that could never be, cause 95 was when we started up the FPG. Bremerton High School, CK was ESP.
Girl, you always on my. I just let you hit my. Even though you on my. On my.
No free attention here, you gotta do me. No free attention here, I'm like a movie. Don't be pretentious, dear, my name ain't Scooby. Different dimensions here, twist up a doobie. Don't care what your mother say, don't care what your sisters say, don't care what your daughters say, don't care what your father say. Pretend it's Father's Day, ride the pole, then take control. Come along, then hit that roll. I'm too strong for you to split that pole. We met in South Seattle, or was it West Virginia, or was it New Orleans? But ever since I've been up in.
You know what I'm saying, my boy Lix, everybody in the building, listen. This is still gonna stud. Bring it to life. That's what it is.
Who you are and how you met Bugsy.
Well, you know, I think it was the summer, and, you know, met Bugsy's, you know, wild self through the Uber. And then, you know, I seen, you know, he had a business card in there, and it was like, you know, he's promoting his music and stuff, so it kind of struck me. You don't really see too many Ubers, you know, in the car, like, rap on the side promoting. So I asked him about it. He's like, yeah. And then, you know, I had him on Instagram, and then I followed him on one page, and then he had a whole nother page, verified and everything. So I'm like, who is this guy? You know, with the Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger, who is this guy? Now I gotta find out. And then, you know, we linked up, and then I really forgot what was the first thing we actually did, but I think it was we went to Rack Boy Cam's video shoot.
That is, yeah.
And then, you know, it was decked out, you know, full production scale. And, you know, from there, you know, I guess he kind of seemed like, all right, he's connected with a couple people, you know, I could rock with him, you know what I'm saying? He's, you know, in the loop about his business. And then, you know, he was rocking from every day. I think another highlight was at Edgewater. And, and it's so crazy, you know, the power of, you know, fruition and, you know, the law of attractiveness, because we was talking about Nicki Minaj's former manager, Fendi, and as we're going into the parking lot, Fendi's coming out of the apartment complex.
Crazy.
And then we're getting ready to film about this, you know, YouTube stuff and Lil TJay and everything, and then, you know, just so happened Fox 5 and, you know,
CBS.
Yeah, CBS,
ABC.
They're all out there, and I'm backing him up. I'm like, he's verified. I'm like, it's the guy you need to talk to. Like, and then, you know, they did that, and then from there, it was like we've always been trying to find our little ways to like elevate the brand.
What trials and tribulations have you faced in the game, and how has Bugsy helped you with that?
For the most part, I would say is marketing, and you know, that's what, you know, Bugsy's been coming in and helping with that. And, you know, us finding our ways to, you know, build and expand on that. I feel like now today, like, it's so accessible to get your own camera, get your own studio, you know, the Pro Tools and things like that. But as far as promoting it and getting out there to millions of people, you're competing with big labels, you know, big distribution companies, and, you know, getting in front of YouTube commercials and things like that. You're competing with Pepsi and PlayStation and all these big corporations. So I think that's the biggest thing indie artists and upcoming artists face. I feel like they tend to feel like they have to do something so crazy to get somebody's attention, you know, doing a crazy prank or, you know, doing something violent to generate and garnish attention to the brand. And, you know, you don't have to compromise yourself like that. I mean, there's other ways you can generate money through your portfolio and invest into it. But I feel like a lot of people in my generation are just so impatient with it and are trying to get to the goal so fast. And that's why we see a lot of artists crashing and, you know, they're here today and gone tomorrow.
Did the 2 shows out there in the Pacific Northwest, and then flew home around 2009, and then had my first son around 2010. So, you know, being that was closing a chapter in my life, when I did the show out in Washington State, I created a pseudonym because I was in transition from figuring out my whole Dogg Pound situation, and came up with the name Will Smith Dogg right after changing my name once again to Lix.com.
You smell so good. You smell so good. That's why I'm so in love with you. The day I met her, it was cold outside.
I was walking by about to jump in my ride. She looked in my eyes, quickly smiled and said hi. Hello, I replied, thinking my, oh my. I caught a whiff of her fragrance and more, and made me turn around and wanna open her car door. I guess she's someone I could fall for. Pretty young thing you would walk through the mall for. Her shoe game's mean, but all that day I didn't care about what other women had to say. I just wondered if it was a lotion, a body spray she was wearing. My speakers blaring, but all I'm hearing was the clerk at the store. I asked baby girl if she'd let me smell more, cause none came close to the one I adored.
So I remember around 2009, I met my new manager, Guillermo. Now he was living in the Netherlands, so it was kind of difficult to meet up on a regular basis, so we used a lot of emails back and forth. And then I remember from MySpace, I had an opportunity. A guy named Sko had set up some meetings with some major labels for me. And so at the time, my manager was still in the Netherlands, so he had to fly over to the States to help with these meetings. I remember we met with Def Jam. I think Lenny S was vice president at the time, and we met with Universal. So I had a lot of stuff going on at the time, music-wise. So I just knew it was a no-brainer that I was gonna get this deal, seal up this deal and everything. But I was still in transition from being associated with the Dogg Pound so closely to having my own individual career. So as I told you with the whole Lix.com movement, that was mainly for the Pacific Northwest. It was kind of just announcing my arrival back from New York. I came up with this pseudo name in transition, Will Smith Dog. So when I put out a mixtape out in the Pacific Northwest, I unveiled that name for the first time. By the time I flew back to Newark, I was still running with that name because there was a lot of momentum that had built up from the Pacific Northwest, and I was in transition. So when I met this manager from the Netherlands, that's the name I was running with.
What it do's? It's your boy. I got some OGs in the house. What up, Some beautiful women in the house, like we do. What up, boy Dazzy? Here lounging with Jinx. There's a recession going on right now, so this is your stimulus. Say the drama for Obama, man. I'm off the chain. Will Smith, dog, having a damn thing change but the name. You already know the thing that I claim. I'm from the pound, man. You could swim or drown, man. While we putting it down, man. I'm straight West Coastin'.
Now, funny enough, the Netherlands being close to Germany, and my manager at the time speaking German, he decided to market my music out in Germany. Now, if you listen to the name Will Smith, I spelled it S-M-I-F-F, it sounds kind of German. So for some reason, we really took off out there. He put money behind the music. I remember he had some connections with Deutschland, black music division of Deutschland, which is like their urban music in Germany. And we actually charted out there. We charted on the Deutsch black music charts with a song I had called Perfume, and another song I had called Get It In, and then I believe another song called Transform That Girl. So we were rising up the charts in Germany. The only thing wrong was I wasn't living in Germany at the time. I hadn't flew out to Germany. I had no connection with Germany, but we were making some buzz out there. So as that buzz was going on, I came up with a more permanent name because I said, I'm gonna be more international soon, so let me try to figure out a permanent name. Sticking to my guns, my manager rode with me. Each of the meetings went well, but I remember a key point of the meeting with DJ. The meeting went like this: listening to my music, rap line from a song called Please Don't Hate the Hustler, says Seattle.
I'm talking G5 jets, motherfucking airport. I'm right by Teterboro. Every day I see a clear port. LA, New Orleans to Seattle, then back to New York. We getting money. We ain't trying to sit and listen to you talk.
Please don't hate the hustler. Please don't hate the hustler. We just supply the customer. Just supply the customer. Please don't hate the hustler. Please don't hate the hustler. We just supply the the customer, just supply the customer. Please don't hate the hustler, please don't hate the hustler. We just supply the customer, just supply the customer. Please don't hate the hustler, please don't hate the hustler. We just supply the customer, just supply the customer.
My fatal attraction's Benji's, but I ain't talking.
And so as the A&R at the time, he stops the tape or whatever, and he's like, so are you a New York artist or are you a Seattle artist? And I'm living in New York at the time, so I'm like, New York artist. But I understood from a marketing perspective what he meant. Now, he wouldn't know years later that guys like Macklemore would take over the game from Seattle, or that Seattle will become instrumental in the legalization of marijuana or whatever. So I felt like, had he saw that vision at the time, Amazon, Starbucks, Boeing, Macklemore, Sir Mix-a-Lot, a lot of people remixing Sir Mix-a-Lot songs, it would have been a marketing genius to map a New York artist that came from Seattle or whatever. But he just really didn't see the vision, and we didn't get signed by DJ at that time. Now, I just told y'all about the little setbacks I had, but in between that time, I went back to New Orleans in 2009 and also in 2011. I was able to see that New Orleans had changed. Now, a member of my family was cousins to DJ Jimmy growing up, so a lot of the New York sound came from like the original DJ Jimmy sound. And then the Hot Boys and Master P came along and really perfected things. But then, around 2009, 2011, the sound had really changed. Wayne was already super huge. And so when you're traveling through New Orleans, you're seeing a lot more dreadlocks, a lot more street dudes wearing red, a lot more people repping Lil Wayne and the Bloods and stuff like that. So it was really like foreign to me, but it was still home, I was out there, I think, on a wedding the first time, and then on my grandfather's funeral, rest in peace. And so, I wasn't there for a long period of time, but it felt like home. And whenever you home, you get a new sense of, a revitalized sense of who you are, and that was able to ground me. So by the time I'm picking up the pieces after having gotten turned down by the labels, in around 2011, I just got a sense of direction. I'm already just fresh off a plane from New Orleans, grieving the loss of my grandfather, but I have a new sense of direction. So out of learning my lesson from the whole Will Smith Dogg debacle, I decided to change my name to something more international. And what I mean by international is like, in any language, there's a word for boy, and in any language, there's a word for face. And being that I had a younger face, and wanted to, make sure that people didn't see me as this old rap artist, I went with the name Boy Face, because I felt like in Chinese, there's words for boy and face, in German, in Russian, in Spanish, in English, in Korean, any language you think of, there's a synonymous word, boy and face. So I rocked out with the name Boy Face. So we had put out some music that didn't really resonate. We're trying new things from about 2012 on up. And then I saw an opportunity that he had brought to me to help out a platinum artist by the name of Kevin Little. Kevin Little was in his own transition at the time. I think he had taken a hiatus. And I knew some guys here in Jersey that could help revitalize his career in a major way. So being that I was the on-the-ground guy in Jersey, and that my manager had also co-managed Kevin, they flew out here to New Jersey, and we put like a deal together for Kevin.
When I say boy, you say face, boy, boy. When I say boy, you say face, boy, boy. Yeah.
Now, in that process, me and Kevin Little ended up in the studio, and we ended up creating a song together called Busy with a major DJ from the Netherlands named DJ Wolfman.
nights on Tuesday, didn't have no time to say. Busy, poke me on a Wednesday. Close back on that day. I'm busy. Hashtag busy Twitter Thursday. Bitch, you better get away. I'm busy.
Keep turning my volume up higher.
Yeah. Something for your soul, nigga. Something for your soul. Yeah. Frog life. Something for your soul, nigga. Something for your soul.
When a cop killed a nigga killed a cop. A lawyer locked a nigga, then the lawyer got locked. It's an eye for an eye in the 2000 is Skrilla. I'm a motherfucking nigga. A motherfucking nigga. When a cop killed a nigga killed a cop. A lawyer locked a nigga, then the lawyer got locked. It's an eye for an eye in the 2000 is Skrilla. I'm a motherfucking nigga. A motherfucking nigga.
It was brutal than a motherfucker. Killed a nigga in cold blood. I don't give a fuck if he was claiming blood or cuz. He didn't deserve they squad giving him them 30 slugs. Especially if he ain't the one that's flying in them drugs. Reprogram, goddamn, Uncle Sam. Camera phone posted live up on Instagram. Niggas posting their whole lives up on Instagram. Bitches running scams saying they don't have a man. Twerk videos.
Back to the new Boyface name and Busy taking off. I'm still here in New York as the song is taking off internationally. Places like Suriname, places like the Netherlands, Sweden. I just don't fly very far. You know, the longest flight I've had was like to LA, 6 hours. So flying overseas was kind of a no-no at the time with having 2 kids, with having a family. So I just wanted to see how far that buzz can go to come back across the water to the US. So at the time out in New York, back and forth to Newark, was in school attending class, taking classes at the time and working a 9 to 5. But I ran into a guy named Chew Biggs, who was a heavy musician, rapper, and also a promoter in New York. So, riding that wave, I was able to open up for Joel Santana for a few shows in the city, and also for rapper Mano in the city as well.
Louis bag full of cushions, some dirty Sprite, 4 full clips, twin blocks, and a bloody mic. We the quarterbacks, cuz down said hike. About to throw a pass to that ass, it's revenge on sight.
What up,
revenge on
Boyface?
sight, revenge on sight.
You know what it is, man.
Revenge on sight, revenge on sight. Touchdown, now that ball I spike. It's revenge on sight.
Big heat in my pants for them niggas hating. I know they plotting.
From both New Jersey and in New York. So that kind of kept the buzz alive. You know, my name would be on some of these flyers out here in New York. I'd bring my crew out and we'd open up for a lot of these artists out here. And then that was from like around 2014 up to 2015, all through 2015, I should say. Then I started mentoring a kid by the name of Zone in around 2015, mentoring him, producing for him, kind of cultivating his image, and kind of helping him navigate into the music industry. So around 2015, Busy still buzzing, I started mentoring this kid who's now, you know, a young up and coming rapper who had some money and some buzz behind him. So me and him went out on a tour together with an artist that was being managed by Mac Miller. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. The artist's name is Njamza. And so she's a singer from Chicago that Mac Miller signed. And so we went on a 4-city tour with her from New York, Boston, Pittsburgh, and LA. And so now I'm running around producing songs for this kid Zone, and also collaborating on songs with him under the name Boyface. So that kind of tied the name Boyface into the US, and the name was still buzzing with the Kevin Little's featured song Busy internationally. And so that did a whole 360 of what I was trying to do to help the song translate back here.
Alright, cuz. Alright, go get that bag right there. Oh shit, somebody coming, come on.
Knock, knock, who is it? My flow's exquisite. Yo, style, you bit it. Off a bunch of your niggas. Studied all of my pictures. Sipped on some liquor. Thought about a way to come up quicker, like you slicker than a groove. All of your hitters used to fuck with your sister. Used to fuck with your moms. Now you all the way live. Had to kill you a nigga just to get on your set. Man, if you don't stop it, I'ma pop it all at your neck. My Nigerian blood. Congolese, I'm a beast. Superman to these thoughts. Marked by the police. Parked all in these streets, now I'm deep in this tech. Trying to get this crypto cracking live, lifting my set. G's came from Cali, through the sack in my palm. I was squabbing in alleys, now I'm all the way on. Funking all on my lawn, please mama forgive me. Reparations due to the black kings of my city, we tired of smelling.
So as we're touring around the US, you know, I'm meeting a lot of different people, different artists. Shout out to Yali, who was on that tour with us. Shout out to Mac Miller. I was able to meet Mac Miller before his passing. And shout out to Njamza. She still has an incredible career going on, so keep up the good work. So around 2015 to, you know, up until around 2019, right before the C word happened, I was still doing live shows, local shows with the Kid Zone, taking him to the studio, driving him out to Delaware. We did some production with Herb Middleton, who used to do all the production for Bad Boy Entertainment. Shout out to Herb Middleton. And just, you know, growing the brand. So what happened in 2019 would kind of alter things a bit, because while I'm on the internet, one of my staff members noticed a video that was of a kid in Manchester, UK, that had did a song called Bugzee Lix. Now, if anyone knows the start of my career, or even my animated film, Space Needle, The Animated Life of Bugzee Lix, that was my original rap name right before I left the Pacific Northwest in around 2003. So the reason I didn't use that name out here was because I was kind of phasing it out. It was kind of that gangster image of me in 2003 that I was trying to just leave there when moving over here to pursue a music career. But it was still, I still had a body of work that was out in the public space under that name. So as I'm watching the video, it's not that a person's trying to steal my name. It was a person using the name as paying homage to me for being one of the artists they grew up on in Manchester, UK, while they were going through, you know, street life or fighting their own demons or becoming a young man. So I'm watching this video, and it reminded me, after all the transitions of these names, after different attempts to get into the music industry, after hiatus of the music industry from having 2 children and, you know, working a 9 to 5 and going to school, that was my original name, and why did I ever change it, and all the fans I would have, and even how many fans do I have out in Manchester, UK, that feel the same way as this rap artist. So, you know, me and the rap artist reached out to each other. We couldn't really make a collaboration happen, but I did try to show love to him on a few songs for kind of resurrecting the name Bugzee Lix through that song. The song out in the UK got about 100,000 streams on YouTube, so it definitely brought the name back to life. And, you know, I just decided to pick up the pieces where I left off with the name and continue to start putting out music through that name. Boyface, the song was still building. I'm still pushing the Busy song with Kevin Little every chance I get. Matter of fact, the song just went top 200 in Suriname yesterday from this video, which is September 2023. The song just reached top 200 on the Shazam charts in Suriname. The song Busy with Kevin Little under the name Boyface. So that song is still doing monumental things, but under the Bugzee Lix name, as you see the clothing brand and everything, I put out a new album called Manifest Destiny. Lately, I did a collaboration with Snoop Dogg called Mota. Mota is the Spanish word for marijuana. So me and Snoop Dogg did a collaboration called Mota. Don't Shoot, that's streaming like crazy right now. Under the Bugzee Lix name, I also did a song with Bryson Tiller called Pull Up. It's also called Gym Girl. So that song is doing crazy numbers right now on the streaming platforms. Besides my album, which is Manifest Destiny. Also under my old moniker, Bugzee Lix, a bunch of TV personalities, TV stations in the New York area interviewed me after one of the rappers out here got shot in a town called Edgewater. I happened to be in the town. I happened to be passing by the scene where it happened, and like 6 major news networks interviewed me regarding the shooting. And so that kind of really boosted the name early 2022. And you know, we're just trying to take the name back to where it should have been for the last 20 years at this point.
We've got to do something different so that the violence decreases. Instead of always having these tragic stories from a prolific artist like Lil TJay.
You saw the Bugzee Lix fragrance. I'm in the works of getting new management, new distro deals. I'm putting out these films with a lot of the songs from Manifest Destiny, and the Bugzee Lix name will live on. And you might hear some, every once in a while, some of the old Will Smith Dog, Lix.com, Boyface, Prince Lix stuff. Just go look all that stuff up too. It's all me. But you know, we're on this journey for life, and Bugzee Lix is the name that really has stood the test of time. And we're just gonna keep pushing forward like that. But just this documentary is just really to end all the confusion, all the speculation, all the lies, all the mistruths, all the misnomers, all the rumors, all the doubt that Bugzee Lix is here to stay. So with the Bugzee Lix brand, we're trying to push it everywhere. We're trying to get licensing deals. I got 3 new movies coming out. One's called The Perfect Song. The other is Space Needle, The Animated Life of Bugzee Lix. And the third one is Bullish Stock. So those movies are gonna be distributed worldwide soon, along with this documentary. So all we just trying to do is just keep spreading love. We got clothes, the merch is available on Instagram. It's also available on Teespring. And we're just trying to really push the name, keep revitalizing the name. And I promise you, unless something else strange or weird happens, there's not gonna be any more name changes anytime in the near future to confuse people even more. Shout out to all my fans in the US, Manchester, and all over the world, South Africa. And we're just gonna keep trying to push the envelope as far as humanly possible, with or without a record deal. Salute.
Center of everything hip hop, and we celebrating 50 years of hip hop now. So if we want another 50, we got to stop beefing with each other. We got to get a hip hop union together. We got to, you know, make more respectable music that everyone from every walk of life can listen to. And we definitely got to keep all money in to make sure that we can survive and people aren't taking money from us first. We eat last. We got to start eating first and feed everybody else in the process. It is Bugzee Lix, always keeping it groovy.
New York City.
The mother niggas cease to exist. US5's ready for this shit. Baby, I've been with this shit. Oh my goodness,
Yo, it's like a
you the shit.
helicopter last year or something.
These
That's how
niggas
this
got
is dope
lists.
for.
Everything you hear that nigga talk straight miss. And I got real words for you, boy, whatever works for you. On his shoulder is the only spot he carry chips. Never in his pocket out, got it, I qualified. That nigga's an asshole. Why you won't start a mind? I ain't trying to play you, I ain't out here with these studies out. You hear that shit all the time, blame it on your mama. I wanna, but nah, I ain't even gonna do it yet. She know I be out here on this motherfucking music to entertain a hoe. I ain't got the time to do that shit. Girl, I wanna hit that shit more than one time. Is it cool if I get seconds, baby? I was just checking. I'ma slide right in that spot, no Tetris. Girl, it's all mine. Tell them niggas, folk, get it. Girl, let's get on FaceTime before you go to sleep. You a freak, tell me what you gon' do to me. I'm going deep, fuck around, get you knocked up. I don't need to call your phone, I just pop up. Girl, if 5 months when I pull up, right on time, come outside, I ain't your man, that's true enough. Man, I'm just saying you don't do enough. I feel that boy, girl, sure enough. I ain't hearing that boy ain't mature enough. Girl, there ain't no other time like your love. Lean to me when I pull up. One time,
for the ladies that swim, for the ladies in the gym, for the ladies that don't let a rap nigga beat it up good every now and then, for the girls taking tests, for the baddies in the check.